Hey guys, it's Jerrod Bennett from Dreamtsoft, and today we want to highlight some of the major features that are going to be part of our upcoming and long-awaited version 16 release. Very exciting for us. I'm going to start out with relationships. Relationships are a big change in the version 16 release. Now, relationships, the concept has been there for a little while, but we really took a lot of time to bring them to the forefront and ensure that they could be leveraged actively within the system and really giving you the full benefit of them. Relationships are traditionally done like this. Everybody has relationships. So just to differentiate, most relationships are done simply with basic reference field is what we call them. So I'm going to take this incident, I'm going to associate it with Aiden or Arnold or whoever I want to do. That's great, but it's fairly limited for a lot of reasons that I will go into right now. But really what you want to be able to do is get beyond this. If I want to assign it to more than one person, or if I want to have Aiden be a watcher, but someone else be the assignee or the lead, well, we can do that now. You'll see this new interface down here in relationships where you'll note that I have multiple people involved in this incident now. Why? Because it's just a big many-to-many relationship. I can relate as many people to the incident as I want. In the same way, I can add as much knowledge and services and the rest. So in this case, I've got Aaron Arnold assisting with a few others. I've got Alfreda watching this particular incident, and I can add additional ones. I can either do it manually through just a basic concept that said, hey, I'm going to add somebody watching this. I'm going to add Alicia to this. And make sure she gets a full context as to what's happening along the way. Or perhaps I want to use our mentions concept and say, hey, Walter, just like you would in like a Slack or a Teams, hey, heads up. And that'll automatically add Walter to the relationships down below without me having to do it. You'll note Walter here and now Alfreda. So the relationship's very cool in managing all of the participants essentially in an incident, but it goes further than that. What if I want to be able to rapidly get to the information contextually relevant to this incident? Like Threefold Technologies, the company record. If I click on that, you'll note it has its own set of relationships. They're different relationships, of course, because it's a company, not an incident, but it's the same concept. So I have financial approvers and VCIOs and subject matter experts all related to this company, and quickly I can say, hey, that's the CIO of this company. I need to get his phone number to give him a phone call, let him know what's going on here. Right? Very cool stuff there. Where it really starts to take shape, though, is when you start getting into the mapping exercise. So if I go into a service or a CI, if I want to, and say, hey, this is going to be the HR benefits portal I'm going to relate to. Well, now that I have that in place, if I click on that record, it has its own set of relationships, of course, just like the company and the incident. In this case, it starts to have its infrastructure. Tomcat servers, applications, databases. What is it that takes to run this service? And what's great about that is, with that information, I can use our new relationship map and start to figure out what's happening. Why is this user having a challenge? Well, if I zoom out a little bit, I can start to have the map read back to me what's going on in real time. This is the HR benefits portal, and if I follow this down, you'll note that this Tomcat server is what serves it, and if I go down one more layer, there's an application server that's actually having a challenge. This little skull and crossbones is letting me know in real time that there's something going on with this that's probably the source of the problem you're having. And if I look down one level further, you'll see not only the infrastructure, but the actual change request that's going on at this moment in time. It looks like they're rebooting HR App 02. And if I click on that, it can let me know exactly what the details of that are. Where are we? What's the schedule? Is it back up? Etc. And I can kind of follow the plan as it goes along. Hey guys, status update. Right from the incident record. Right? What's more, I can check out the execution plan. I won't spend much time on this, but this is basically project management. This is a full-scale hierarchical set of tasks that are going to occur when this particular change goes on. And you can kind of get the sense of how that looks. So pretty cool. I can go right from the incident to the affected service to any one of the affected CIs, or if I want to, leverage the map. Zoom as far as I want to go. Of course, it gets a little unwieldy as you get a little further. We'll work on that. And quickly get to the information I need to so that I can rapidly figure out what this user needs to get them back up and running. Right? So I know that there's a challenge. I know that they're working on it. I know there's a change request. Well, let me give them a workaround. Is there a workaround? Yeah. But when I add a relationship to knowledge, you'll note it takes a little bit of a different path. When I added a service, it just gave me a pick list. When I added a user, it gave me types of relationships. On a knowledge, it's actually doing a search for me, letting me know that, hey, there's there's knowledge articles for HR portals specifically. How did it get that information? Well, it's contextually taking it out of the incident itself. It's going to take this title or whatever I choose to give it, and it's going to allow me to quickly and rapidly get to the information I want to. There's an alternate URL for this. Great, that's what I want to send to the user. Let me add that relationship as well. So we started a basic incident. We start adding the relevant personnel, kind of the beginnings of the swarming concept that you're seeing more and more. I get to the relevant service, rapidly get to the information I need to, and then quickly get the end user out the door so I can eventually resolve this ticket. Right? So relationships, very cool, something we're looking forward to. This is one of the major changes in the system. Of course, what's great about this is from an administrative standpoint, this can be leveraged now. So it's not just that you can UI-wise kind of leverage it on your day-to-day, but from an administrative standpoint, if you wanted to do something like change your incident updated notification, when an incident gets changed, who do I notify? Well, rather than just a person or a particular slot, like who the requested by or assignee was, now what you can do is you can add relationships. Send it to everyone who's assisting, watching, or leading, or even related data. Send it to the company's VCIOs, right? And you'll see that adds it right there. So again, relationships, very cool. It's really been brought up. And for those of you application architects, this will change the entire mechanism by which you architect your data structures. All right, moving on. You've actually seen them as I've gone along. I didn't call them out, but they're called Slideins or Slideouts, whatever you want to call them. The traditional web model has been this. I'm on a list of data. I click, it takes me to a new screen and the list is gone. Well, that's not the best web model any longer. You're seeing a lot of banks switch to this concept of Slideins. Slideins allows you to maintain the origination context, but really get a visual notion of how it is you got here. These are complex data structures. You've got incidents that relate to companies, that relate to users and locations. You can often very quickly lose yourself, and what you find is you have to learn the whole data structure to be able to function in it. Well, no longer. What I can do is I can go from an incident list to a company record, as you've seen. I can go to Armina, in this case, I can jump to that person's manager or whatever I need to do, and I can keep going and going and going. Of course, I can navigate back to the incident if I want to. I can now open up Aiden's record, etc. So very cool stuff that you can do there. Just a real neat UI trick that allows us for faster navigation throughout the system, and frankly, just makes the whole system much more discoverable and obvious. All right, it's pretty cool there. A couple other things. The approval engine has been completely rewritten. We wanted to be able to, as part of our change management upgrade, you got to be able to accommodate much more advanced approvals. Well, now we can. The whole approval engine now uses our visual workflow system. Most of you are familiar with this. Adding approvals, very simple. I can go through and say who the approvers for this one. Well, I'm going to have the company's VCIO approve first before I do anything else. And of course, you'll see just kind of the drag and drop notion. If it gets approved, then go to the VITEM. If it gets rejected, well, we'll take it to the rejected place. So very quick and rapid implementation of what can be a very daunting set of processes, but ultimately just surfacing that in such a way that administrators have a much easier time doing it. Related to that, of course, change management itself has been completely rewritten. I'll go into a normal change here. You would have seen this very briefly earlier, but change management, a lot of changes here that's gone on. We've completely redesigned the way enterprise change management is going to be done. Everything from the standard RFC templating and application all the way up to, like I said earlier, the execution plans and everything in between. So full-scale enterprise change management to the level that we really expected it to be. This really gets it to that kind of, really to be able to accommodate most of the large-scale enterprises that we wanted it to. All right. One other basic thing, the help button's been brought back. Many of you missed that when we redesigned our UI. The help button's brought back. You click help and it'll give you relevant and contextual help to the process you're on, the document you're on, the particular slots that you're looking at, etc. So both from an administrative standpoint and from an end user standpoint, very helpful. All right. Another thing for you MSPs out there, I'll switch over to my other instance here, the company picker. So if you want to jump back and forth between all of your companies, of course you have your own environment, you're managing a global queue of incidents and changes, but if you want to jump into one of your customer environments and work in there, you can do that quickly from the company picker here. A lot of the industry standard tools use that, and we've of course accommodated that as well. Another big deal, of course, is the company 360 dashboard. Now, this is the beginnings of a lot of the company roll-up mechanisms that we have, but the 360 dashboard showing you kind of a one-stop shop of everything going on with one of your supported companies. Entitlements, what did your customer buy? What are they consuming quarter by quarter and by hour? How much time are you spending on this particular customer, and who's doing it, and what role, what hat were they wearing when they did so? So you can start to get much better analysis, essentially, of what your people are doing on behalf of this customer from a value perspective. Customer satisfaction, 30, 60, 90-day scores. Are we doing well or not? Do they like us? Do they don't? All of this is kind of really the beginnings of this 360 dashboard that we're trying to surface, and we'll continue to add more and more to that over time. So very exciting stuff. There's a lot more to talk about with version 16. I want to keep this thing short today, but ultimately the 16 release comes out. Happy to upgrade any of our customers to it, and then if you want more information, please give us a ring or shoot us a Slack, and we're happy to jump on the phone and walk you through any of the particulars. Otherwise, everyone have a good day.